This weekend, we will find out who is the 2025 strongest man on earth. Now, before I go into my predictions, I just want to say that despite there being some big names missing, such as Hathor Bjornsson, Mitchell Hooper and Reino, now, this is still a very stacked lineup, and I've seen a bit of criticism about the fact that it's a lot of North Americans competing, but if we had Hathor Bjornsson and Reino now, that would have been an Icelandic and a South African, and you have to imagine that for Brian and for the whole show, it's probably easier to get North American contestants in a short notice instead of getting somebody from across the world, for example. Now, two people that I think did deserve a shot would have been Paddy Hames from the UK and Jaco Schoonwinkel from South Africa. Jaco proved at the most recent Giants Live that he is a threat to major competitions, and I'm pretty sure in a year or two's time, or over the next year to 2 years, we will see that he is a threat at these major shows. Anyway, let's take a look at the athletes that are competing. We have Austin Andrade, Maxime Boudreau, Wes Dawinski, Thomas Evans, Shane Flowers, Andre Foytu, Nick Gardione, Lucas Hatton, Tristan Hoth, Bryce Johnson, Trey Mitchell, Evan Singleton, Josh Spurgeon, Tom Stoltman, Eddie Williams, and Bobby Thompson. That is one hell of a lineup and one of the most difficult to predict that I have seen in a very long time. With it being 16 athletes, I will give my top 5 on every event and a overall top 5 at the end instead of a top 3 because, well, there's just more athletes, more events, so it's easier, better to do a top 5. And we are starting off with the max log press. Now, there's only really 2 people that everybody has been talking about on this one, and that is Lucas Hatton and Trey Mitchell, and that's for good reason because the belief is that they may be able to push for a new world record. Whether or not we will have to see that number go is yet to be determined. I don't think we will see it go. I think both are capable of being right around that sort of 230 mark, but realistically, I think the winner is probably going to be somewhere around 220 kilos, and I don't think we will quite have to push up past the world record. We will almost certainly see a new American record. I think both of those I know both of those have broken it in training. I don't know if Austin Andrade has broken that in training, and we will almost definitely see a new junior world record from Andre Foytu as well. So my top 5 for this event is as follows. I have Lucas Hatton taking the win with Trey in second. Austin Andrade coming in third. I think he is a lot stronger than he's showing on his Instagram. I then have Andre Foytu in 4th place and then Tom Stoltman in 5th place. I think Evan Singleton can get around 6th or 7th on this event. And the reason I mention that with him not being in the top 5 is because I really believe Evan is a massive threat to this title. Another one to mention on the log press is Bobby Thompson. People don't seem to be speaking about him, but he is the current American log press record holder, and I don't think he's going to be that far off the top 5. I don't think he's quite at the level of the others right now, but he's certainly going to be pushing for decent points on this event. Second event of day 1 is the frame carry into arm over arm. It's an 825-pound frame, which is about 370 kilos, into an arm over arm, which is difficult to determine the weight, but we know it's going to be heavy. And unfortunately, this is where Trey Mitchell's competition is going to fall apart. Now, I would love to pretend that he's going to get mid-pack. I see a lot of people saying if Trey can just get mid-pack on this event, then he could be a massive threat for this title, but I don't think Trey can get mid-pack. I think he's going to zero the event. The past 2 times we've seen him on a frame carry, he has zeroed the event, that being at the Giants Live, couldn't pick it up, and Arnold's couldn't pick it up. So I don't see it being any different here. He's not had much time since the Giants Live event. I don't see why it's going to be any different. So unfortunately, I have Trey Mitchell getting a 0 on this event. The sorts of people that I will be looking out for on this are Tom Stoltman, Evan Singleton, and Bryce Johnson, who seems to have a very good grip. Austin Andrade actually did very well at this similar event last year, coming in 3rd place, where they had the Baylor into the tractor arm over arm, which was just crazy weights. I don't think anybody finished it, so I think he could place really well on this event. And my top 5 are as follows. I have Evan Singleton winning the event, Austin Andrade in second. I then have Eddie Williams coming in third place on this event. His grip is really good. He's a very big guy. He's not bad at moving at all. I have Tom Stoltman coming in fourth, and then fifth place, I have Bryce Johnson. Event 3 is keg toss for max weight over 15 feet, and there's only one person that I see winning this event, and that is Tom Stoltman. From the way he's been talking, he's close to hitting 100 pounds on this. Now, whether or not he can do that on the day, I'm not sure, but from the way everybody else is talking, they're around 70 to 80 pounds. That 75 pound mark, I feel like there's going to be a lot of people around there. And it might be, if you get that, you jump up a hell of a lot of points. So that's really where the battle is going to be. But I see Tom Stoltman being out in front of everybody. Some other good throwers to mention are Maxime Boudreau, Shane Flowers, and Wesley Dowinski as well. They should do very well on this event if Max is in good shape. He didn't perform great at North Americas, but it's Maxime Boudreau. If he comes in shape, he's always a threat. However, this is for max weight and not for speed, so it doesn't necessarily translate over, but in my opinion, if you are a good thrower for height and speed, then you're going to be decent at max weight as well. So my top 5 for this is Tom Stoltman in first, as you know. I then have Wes Dowinski in second, Evan Singleton, just because he's got so much explosive power, coming in third. I then have Thomas Evans, who I haven't mentioned yet, but he is a great tosser. And then in fifth place, I have Shane Flowers. For Trey and Lucas on this event, I think they'd be happy with around mid-pack, preferably the top half of the middle, not the bottom half, but it's all about damage limitation on this event for those two, I believe. The final event of day one is the Manhood Stone. There's 4 stones. There's 450, 500, 550, and 600. It's a trump system. Any amount of reps at a heavier weight beats any amount of reps at a lighter weight. So 1 rep on 600 beats 1,000 reps on 450, for example. Last year, we had a lot of people failing this. I'm not sure if the tactics were wrong or the tacky was wrong. The stones did look very slippery, but we don't know. Some people managed to do them, some people failed them. I don't think we'll see quite as many fails this year because I can imagine people have learnt from last time. The thing with this event coming right after the keg toss is that if Tom Stoltman is to win the keg toss, he will go out last on this event. Now, he will feel as though this is an event he can definitely win. So it's almost more important that he wins the keg toss than this event, because if he wins the keg toss, he'll come out last in this event, meaning he will know exactly what he has to do. And Tom Stoltman and Stones, he's probably going to be able to do whatever he needs to do. This is honestly one of the harder ones to pick a top 5 in, but I have it as follows. I have Tom Stoltman taking the win in the event. I then have Trey Mitchell, Austin Andrade, Shane Flowers, and Evan Singleton in 5th, just because I think Evan will be consistent enough across the board. He knows how to score points. He should come out relatively late on it after the keg toss, so he should hopefully be able to score enough points to get him in that 5th spot position. Again, I think the likes of Lucas Hatton will be around 6th place on this event. He's a very good stone lifter. I just don't quite think he's as good as the other 5 that I mentioned. So at the end of day one, my top 5 will look something like this. I will have Tom Stoltman in the lead on 57 points, Evan Singleton in second on 52 points. I then have Austin Andrade on 50 points, Lucas Hatton on 45 points, and Shane Flowers actually on 43 points, with Trey not far behind on 39 points. Trying to do the top 5 with the points is probably the hardest bit, except for the likes of Tom Stoltman, who I had in the top 5 of every event. But for the other athletes, it means I have to go back, look, and say, I think they'll probably finish about 8th in this event. So it's a rough idea, but that's the order that I think they're going to be in either way. Going into day 2 then, I have Tom Stoltman in a commanding lead, 5 points over Evan Singleton. First event on day 2 is the max trap bar deadlift, and this is where things can get very interesting. Tom hasn't had the best deadlift results in the past couple of years. They have been a bit up and down. I remember at Britain's 2 years ago, he pulled 400 for 5, but then he was failing 400 raw for a single. And I know you can get a lot out of the suit, but you would think that he would do that for a single. And then he has had decent results at the likes of World's Strongest Man for reps. So hopefully he's in a better place and can manage to pick up some decent points on this event. With the setup being a trap bar instead of a normal deadlift, it does favour the people with stronger legs as opposed to the people who are better in the hinge position. So it could throw up results that are different than what we would normally see on a regular max deadlift. My top 5 are going to be as follows. I have Trey Mitchell winning the event, Evan Singleton coming in second. He's looked very, very strong on this. Lucas Hatton in third place because he just has extremely strong legs. I then have Austin Andrade in fourth with Thomas Evans rounding out the top 5. He's actually a very good deadlifter and I think he's been slept on a little bit for this competition. I do think Tom Stoltman can get 6th or 7th on this event, which would be really good damage control from him. Second event of day 2 is the safe carry. So it's essentially a really heavy super yoke for 20 feet, which is 6 meters. Round 1 is about 1150 to 1200 pounds or 520 to 540 kilograms. Going into round 2, which will go up about 200 pounds or 90 kilograms. Round 1 is basically a buy-in for the second round. If you don't manage to lift the yoke in round 2, then they will take a time for round 1, but the likelihood is you're not going to get many points on the event. So most people will be looking to finish the course of the 1350, 1400 pound yoke. If this was a yoke around 1,000 pounds, then I would say Evan Singleton is going to win it pretty easily, but it's not for that. I actually think this yoke, the setup of it being really heavy, will suit the stockier, thicker guys more than the taller, leaner athletes. I saw Lucas do 1,300 pounds for around 30 feet, so 10 feet over comp distance, and he looked pretty comfortable with it, pretty fast. I think he's definitely got an extra 100 pounds in there come comp day. Tom Stoltman did 6 meters, so comp distance with 550 kilos, which is pretty goddamn heavy, and he didn't look all that comfortable with the weight, but it is at the end of a very heavy, brutal training cycle, and I'm sure when he's rested and recovered a bit more, he will be able to do that top weight. I just don't know if he's going to challenge for the win on this event. So for the top 5, I have Lucas Hatton winning the event, and although I said it won't suit the taller, leaner athletes, I do have Evan Singleton coming in second because he's still extremely good at yoke and his training still looks very good for it. In third place, I then have Trey Mitchell, followed by Austin Andrade, with Tom Stoltman coming in 5th place. Third event of day 2 is the standing chest press, and this is probably the most difficult to call. I'm not going to talk an awful lot about it because I don't want to pretend like I know what's going to happen. I do have a prediction from the knowledge that I have, and it goes as follows. In first place, I have Thomas Evans winning this event with Lucas Hatton coming in second. He actually has a standing chest press machine, which he bought specifically to train for this event. I then have Trey Mitchell in third, Evan Singleton in fourth, and Austin Andrade in fifth. Again, with Tom Stoltman coming around 6th or 7th place. Meaning that going into the power stairs, it will be very, very close at the top. This will have Evan on 95 points with Tom Stoltman back on 91 points if we assume that he came in 6th place on the events where I had him out of the top 5. We'll also have Lucas on 90, Austin on 88, and Trey Mitchell on 83 points. Now, I hear the likes of Bryce Johnson are very good at power stairs, but for Tom Stoltman to take top spot, he would need to win this event and hope that Evan finishes in 5th place or worse, and that's not going to happen. Which means I have Evan Singleton winning this event, taking 16 points, and also winning the title of 2025 Strongest Man on Earth with a total of 111 points. I think the overall top 5 will be the order that they are going into this event anyway, meaning that Evan wins, Tom in 2nd, Lucas 3rd, Austin Andrade 4th, and Trey Mitchell in 5th. When I did my quick predictions in my head before actually writing everything down, I had Evan winning then as well, but I actually had him on 107 points. So I've actually bumped him up a little bit since looking through the events and the other athletes and where I think he'll finish. Let me know what you guys think in the comments down below. Don't forget to like the video, subscribe to the channel, and I'll probably see you in another 6 months' time.